When I first bought this M3, aka Sally, it had to be pushed off of a trailer with me in it.
Help me! Help me!
Now fast forward some time, I think we've made some really good progress. The sticker price for this very car in 2018 was over $70,000. A manual transmission Yas Marina Blue M3 fully loaded. In this day and age with 22,000 miles, you can probably find this car from $40,000 to $50,000. And I am proud to say, since we started completely from scratch, we are still under $25,000 put into this car, which is such a blessing. I mean, in that price range, we're pretty much driving a Camry with an M3 badge on it. Unfortunately, the car is still far from finished. There is a lot of plastic pieces missing. The body panel gaps are absolutely terrible. Even the M3 logo is crooked. And the worst thing of all, the car sounds terrible. Would you believe me if I told you this car's on right now? I'm gonna put the mic up to it.
It ain't got no gas in it.
That is so bad. Any 335i in the market would beat this car when it comes down to sound, so we need to fix that. The M3 inside and out is absolutely filthy, and to make things even worse, it is having some serious electrical issues. This $2,500 headlight isn't functioning at all, and that's exactly what we're going to start off by fixing. Now check this out. Disconnect the plug, reconnect it. See how weird that is? The headlight doesn't work unless when the car is on, I disconnect the plug and reconnect it. Thankfully, remote beamer is on the laptop right now, and he just told me it seems like it is not coded. Okay, he said he coded the headlight module. So let's turn off the ignition and turn it back on, and hopefully that fixed it. All right, so turn off, turn on. Yes, it's working. Yes. No way it's that simple of a fix. But just to be 100% sure, let's turn it off and back on again. Oh, I'm so nervous. Here we go. This will save me so much money if it's actually fixed. Oh, yes. Now, another thing we have to fix is this code that I keep getting for the auxiliary water pump. There's a short circuit or disconnection, but I keep checking it and it's connected. Thankfully, Naughty Auto Parts, a massive sponsor for this build, went ahead and sent us a water pump. And guess what we're going to do? Well, we're going to be changing the auxiliary water pump. And crazy enough, this car has 4. One on the driver's side, this one behind the radiator that we're changing, another one right next to the turbos, which we already replaced it with the new one, and the mechanical one. This one in specific pumps coolant into the heat exchanger, which also cools down the turbos. Step 1 is protecting the TEMU skid plate. That's protecting our Mishimoto oil cooler. Step 2 is pretty much disconnect the pump. Thankfully, this one isn't in such a tight spot. One thing I've noticed, it may sound crazy, this car is not that difficult to work on. So there's 2 hoses attached to the pump, and remove the pump. And of course, out with the old and in with the new to me. Please fix the issue. Nope, unfortunately, I am still getting that same code. Something electrical is seriously wrong. And we can't drive the car like this because if the coolant isn't really making their way to the turbos and it's not circulating how it should be, that could be catastrophic for the turbos. I'm so confused. Here we are trying to diagnose this weird issue with the water pump. Water pump. How can I put it this way? The water pump we just changed out and did all of that too isn't even the one we're getting the code for. It is the water pump over here. And I'm gonna check that pump. If that pump is unplugged, then I just spend all those hours and time. Let me put it this way. When something is electronically driven, it needs to be connected to power. And the plug just hanging next to it is definitely not giving it power. We found our issue. This is just what happens when you're completely building a car from scratch, wiring harness and everything. I'm praying that I'm not missing anything else, but in all honesty, everything else seems to be working just perfect. Before we get into the incredible exhaust I'm looking at right now to get this thing started, I do have to talk about the feedback from the previous video. I know all of you are loving the big spoiler with the mini spoiler. And thank you so much for... What are you talking about? They don't like it? Oh. That's what they said? We can't ignore the fact that a lot of you didn't like my decision. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I thought I cooked. I thought I cooked. So it's time to remove the wing. Here we go. Actually, yep, you guys were right about that. If I'm gonna go with one of the 2 spoilers, I'm keeping the big one. I love how it looks. I know a lot of you don't like it, but trust me, in person, it's different than on video. And another thing, I did see a lot of people commenting these side blades are backwards. They're actually not. This is exactly how they go. Next up, we need to fix this car's sound, because how a car sounds really determines its personality in a way, in a big way. That's actually not bad, but we need a little more sauce. We need some more personality on this car. I mean, even just driving it around, it doesn't really excite me. Can't hear nothing. We definitely need to do something about this. Also, check out how cool this is. Shows you temperature of the tire. That is awesome. Oh, shoot. In life, you can cheap out on some things, but other things you shouldn't cheap out. For example, on this car, we did so many fun TEMU parts and they look amazing, but when it comes down to performance or exhaust or things that really matter to the car and your driving ability, you shouldn't cheap out. Now, with that very important fact in mind, I would like to present to you the almighty valvetronic design, equal length, full exhaust for the F80 M3. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I am running a valvetronic on my 340i. I love that car because of the exhaust. That is so sick. I think this is the brace that sits under the car, I think. I'm actually missing it, funny enough. If you have social media and you like cars, you know who Valvetronic is. They make the highest quality and coolest exhaust systems. From cars ranging from Lamborghini to Porsche to M3s to universal mufflers, they do it all. Here is the full Valvetronic equal length exhaust for the F80, and you can even see this really cool kind of H-pipe style design. It's not really an H-pipe. Actually, maybe it is, I don't know. But either way, it's 3.5 inch from here on back. It's gonna sound amazing, aggressive, exotic, and it's gonna scream like an M car should scream.
Special ops.
I feel like I'm in an action movie installing this thing. So sick. And I mean, Valvetronic designs, I've seen them come up from like the very beginning into what is like a legit exhaust company that manufactures a lot of exhausts for certain cars here in the US and Pennsylvania, I think. Time to do something a lot of people talk about, but very few do. Downpipes. Now, these 3-inch downpipes with the nice Cerakote coating don't only look amazing, it's going to help when we go tune the car because less restriction, faster spool for the turbos, and a lot of miles per gallon. And if you own an F80 or any other car, I'm gonna leave the link in the description to Valvetronic's website. Check out their exhaust. Trust me, you're not gonna regret it. Obviously, we got some nice Valvetronic carbon fiber tips. Let's get going. We have a long journey ahead of us, not only for the exhaust, but for the whole car. Because something that I didn't tell you guys, I told the wife I was gonna take her out on a date in the M3 because she's never really been in the car. She's seen me do so much. She's so proud. And you know, she wants to experience the car. And it's not even done. So we gotta get going. Yeah. Step 1 to any exhaust or downpipe job is jack up the car. The downpipes and the exhaust meet right here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. And 13. Now we go to the back. These are the 2 hangers right before the muffler hangers, which we have to disconnect. Now we have to remove this whole sick bottom side of the carbon fiber diffuser. This is hands down the coolest diffuser we've ever installed. Got it straight from TEMU. You guys actually loved it, which is awesome. But in reality, it looks amazing on the car. And with this exhaust and the Valvetronic tips, woo, I can't wait. Oh, I don't want to scratch it. I don't want to scratch it. The muffler is being held on by 2 hangers, 1 on each side, and they're both being held on by 2 13mm nuts. We're lowering down the transmission jack so we can fully remove the exhaust from the bottom of the car. That's not ideal. It just started pouring like crazy though. Oh God. Full on random hurricane. Then again, we're in Florida, but everything's getting wet. Under the car's getting wet. My tools are getting wet. My phone's getting wet. But we have a goal that we need to achieve, and we're gonna do just that. Now, one of the funniest things about this car was, since we had to do a whole chassis swap, the first time we started it, it had over 130 something faults. Today, I want to do something right now. As you saw earlier in this video, the programmer got inside the computer, we cleared all the codes, all the faults, we fixed the headlight, we programmed most things, but Today's sponsor is OBD11 and their new version 3. So we're gonna plug this into the car, see what faults we have left, then the programmer is gonna get into the car again later on in this video, and we're gonna fully fix everything. Now the OBD11 3 is a complete redesign. Now it pairs up faster, scans quicker, and comes with features that even dealership software doesn't offer for the average DIYer. All you have to do is plug it into your OBD2 port, pull out your smartphone device, download the OBD11 app, and we're gonna connect. Here we go. Now, it already connected to the car, so we're gonna scan it, but OBD11 is for BMWs, Volkswagen, and Audi groups, as well as Ford. And if you've got a vehicle from 2020 up, you're not locked out. You can still use it. Look at that. Only 22 faults found. You guys remember when we had over 130? And a lot of these faults, I already know what they are, and we can get rid of them really quickly in a little bit. Now I'm gonna clear all and see which ones come back, because I'm getting a fault for the front left sensor. As you know, we soldered that in, so I'm hoping we soldered in correctly and we're not still getting a fault for that. Nope, it didn't come back up. Look at that. Now we only have 11 faults. Now let's code things into the car. Okay, I think this one's really cool. So auto folding mirrors. So that means whenever I lock the vehicles, the mirrors are gonna fold. We're gonna activate it. It worked. And now we're gonna unlock it. That is so cool. It has a new feature that it does not drain your battery, so you can literally leave it plugged in 24/7, no issues whatsoever. I love that. So with that being said, if you're modifying the car or even just maintaining it, you want the most powerful tool to do so. I mean, I couldn't imagine working on these cars without a proper OBD scanner. It's kind of impossible. So with that being said, I'm gonna leave the link in the description. Use code Danny. Thank you OBD11 for sponsoring my videos. They've always been a great supporter of the channel, and it means so much to me. Now the very first step to removing the downpipes is removing the O2 sensors, or disconnecting them from the harness that goes to the car. And it sounds way easier than it actually is. Well, it's not difficult, it's just inconvenient. We need to remove the whole carbon fiber strut brace, as well as the carbon fiber intake that we have on the car, because both plugs sit really deep inside the passenger side of the engine bay. I do know a lot of people also remove the charge pipe. Thankfully, I was able to get to the plugs without doing that, but you do have to be extremely tall like me, or you're gonna have to use a chair. I had to get a chair. But now that that's out of the way, we can go ahead and start disconnecting the downpipe from the turbo. And to do so, we're going to be needing a 13mm ratcheting wrench. Why? Because it is extremely tight to get the V-band clamps, and in my opinion, this is probably the best option. Now this is a pretty surreal moment for me. In case you're new here, my first ever BMW I bought 2 years ago, and it was an E92 335i. And the first ever downpipes I did was on that car. So the fact that we're now doing downpipes on an F80 a couple years later is an absolute dream. That would not have been possible without you guys watching and supporting all these videos. So thank you. So we got both of the bolts and the clamps off. Now I think there's a little bracket with 2 bolts on it. We can remove that, and I think we can just pull out the downpipes. We also need to remove this bracket. It's being held on by these Torx bolts. This pretty much keeps both together. We need to get rid of that. And we are going to be transferring this piece onto the new downpipes, because this is what pretty much bolts up to the exhaust. But the only things left off for the downpipe are the 2 little bolts that are held onto the bracket, and then they're ready to come out. Here we go. First downpipe. Let's go. Yes. Asking for a friend, but what is a typical twin turbo upgrade people do for the F80s? Let me know. Baby number 2. Sir. Look at that. Both turbos look good, but as you're gonna see later on in this video, from sitting for so long, they actually might not be. Look how thick it is, and look how flat it is. Have you guys seen those catfish? But the cats are out. Now we have to switch over the O2 sensors. And here is a really good side-by-side. Who would have thought we'd be putting this nice of downpipes on the M3, let alone this nice of an exhaust? Wow. But to switch over the O2 sensors, it's as simple as it gets. They're 22mm, and then just thread them in. Now we did have one casualty in the uninstall. I noticed the threads for this clamp are absolutely destroyed. And then I looked at the bolt, and it all makes sense. Thankfully, from doing so many BMW downpipes throughout the years, I have some clamps laying around with great threads. So we had to snag one, as well as a new bolt. and we're good to go. Before putting everything back to place, like I said, we have to remove these gaskets from the turbo, and thankfully I had new ones laying around because these are always recommended to replace when doing downpipe. And how they work is really weird. You push them in place and they sit a little taller, so when you push in the downpipe and tighten everything up, it really seals any leaks. Now, my method for doing downpipes, I always put the V-band clamp on the turbo side. I then meet the downpipe to the turbo and try my best to snake the clamp over the turbo and the downpipe while still pressing the downpipe on so it doesn't fall off. Yeah, it's definitely not the easiest thing. That's for sure. We need to make sure the whole exhaust is in place, so we're just gonna mock it up for now. Now that the downpipes are in, it is time for the exhaust. Now, we also did have to purchase new exhaust gaskets. Yes, exhaust gaskets. They're just like the ones from the turbo, but these go on the other end of the downpipe. And just like that, it is time to start throwing on the new exhaust, baby. Let's go. First section of the valvetronic exhaust, finito. That was actually pretty easy. I did get a little confused though. Thought it was the wrong pipe the whole time because I thought this hanger was supposed to sit on the outside, but it actually sits on the inside and then it bolts up to here. So we got the right pipe, we got the right exhaust. It's not this one. That's the very last piece. I think this is next up. Here we go. The exhaust came with little stickers on each pipe so you know exactly where each one goes. This one's A, so this one goes like this. Look at that. We need a transmission jack so we can raise this exhaust a little bit, move it this way so we can clamp this first mount in the front. That's gonna give us more leverage to do the rest of the exhaust and just make sure everything's lining up properly. Now's a really good time to ask, what is your dream exhaust and on what car do you want to throw that exhaust on? I think mine would be a valvetronic on a V10 or a V12. That would be insane. That mount is mocked up. I don't really want to tighten everything. We're gonna continue on back, and then when we get everything in place, we'll tighten everything because it fits perfect, but some parts are tight, so we gotta make sure we do everything correctly. That being said, on to the next pipe. This is the next pipe. 3.5 inches of pure M power scream, baby. I'm so excited. And that excitement is getting us through the most annoying part of any exhaust install, exchanging over the exhaust hangers, especially in the hottest day recorded since the 1970s, where I'm from.
Got it, dope.
I've never seen these clamps before, but... And then this sits right over that. Then the clamp sits over both pipes, and obviously when you tighten it, it tightens both pipes together. Honestly, I don't hate it. There's so much empty space in here. It's time to fill it up with the good old valvetronic muffler. That's the final piece. The whole exhaust is already done, looking so good. But before we can throw the muffler on, we have to install the hangers, one on each side. True, that slid in nice. Look at that. Guys, this is like the most awesome, easiest exhaust install ever. We need to set up the valves, which is going to be super easy, and we're going to be using the stock system the car comes with because of this harness. I'm not sure how most people or most shops do it, but what I'm doing is grabbing the motor that comes from the stock exhaust and pretty much putting it onto the valvetronic. It's really simple, only being held on by 3 bolts. You just have to line up the motor with the little key that then goes onto the valve, and it all lines up perfectly to close and open. And now the valve should open and close. Yes, let's go! Now, I am using an app to manually open and close them because I'm not turning the car on just yet, but if it's working with the app, it's going to be working with the stock system the car comes with. So awesome. So when we put in sport, the valves open. When we put in efficient, the valves close. And now it is time to throw on the tips. This was by far the most difficult part, to be honest. There was a lot of taking off, putting back on, lining up, taking off, putting back on, lining up, because I really want this car to be as perfect as I can possibly make it. Now that we got everything pretty much lined up, it is time to put on the carbon fiber tips. The tips are on, and now time to throw on the valvetronic cross brace. Everything's buttoned down. We got the rear diffuser on. The exhaust with the rear diffuser looks money. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a cold startup on the full valvetronic exhaust. Even with the valves closed, that cold startup was just perfect. Now the valves are closed. That's crazy. we got when there's no cops around, and we have when there is cops around. But check out just the difference in idle when the valves are open. Oh my gosh! The turbo sounds! Alright, we're gonna do more reps later when we're out. We got more things to do, but this exhaust. Oh my gosh! And not even just that, look how amazing the exhaust looks. Absolute beauty from rear to front, from front to rear. And I'm not going to lie, I actually did end up coming back to the exhaust tips and redoing the whole thing. I spent way too much time making sure these exhaust tips look perfect. But now I am extremely happy with how they came out. I mean, they look amazing. What I didn't like was before you could see the clamps, and now you really can't see the clamps because they're tucked up and not as visible. So now that the exhaust sounds proper, more on that later, we can move on to some very important things, including this box full of plastics that this car needs so it can look like an actual BMW M3. There's no cowl, there's no trim pieces, plastic, rubber pieces. It's missing a lot. But unfortunately, even though I have all the pieces, they are so dirty. It's actually insane. I mean, there's dust on everything. So we're gonna clean everything up. And I also want to use this plastic restorer I've had for almost 7 years. Back when I first got my 370Z. I don't know if it still works. I think it will, right? Yeah, that's gonna be pretty eventful. But I'm pretty much just washing the trim pieces and all the plastics with soap and water just to really get off all the dirt, and then we can really worry about bringing it back to life. Now, all of you know, I am no expert. So really all I'm doing is putting the product into the plastic, just really rubbing it in, and I can already tell these things are looking amazing. Check out the before and then the after. Are you kidding me? And that's pretty much with every plastic piece. Oof, I almost missed it, but we gotta get rid of this writing on the valve cover since we had to buy a used one because we cracked ours. I mean, yeah, look how dirty this engine bay is. That's really bad. This is once again looking like an abandoned M3. We just cannot have that. And while we're at it, let's also just go ahead and throw on all the panels that have been missing from the rear end. And yeah, it's kind of a good amount, you could say. I truly have been waiting for this moment to install this on the car. And it is the M-Power engine bay cover. I've had this sitting around forever. I haven't put on it because the car's not truly done. But today's that day, so we got to throw this on. But I do want to clean it and use the nice 7-year-old plastic restorer. Step one, like everything else though, we have to clean it. And now we can start rubbing off the good stuff. Honestly, this is working so well, I think you have to let it sit for 7 years, and the product just gets better automatically. But while that's drying up, we can put back the carbon fiber brace. I love this carbon brace. Definitely one of the coolest things about this chassis. I mean, it's so awesome. This car has never had a cowl, funny enough. And as you can see, I'm also missing my windshield wipers, and it's raining every single day in Florida. So that's something else we have to take care of. Look how awesome this looks. That cowl used to be terrible. This was faded, that was faded, the whole engine bay was dirty. Let's go. What a massive improvement. And I think I'm getting old because I never really cared about how clean the engine bay looked, kind of until now. And now we can throw on the rubber grommets that go on the strut tower. But here we go, y'all, massive moment right here. That looks straight out of the factory, out of the dealership with 22,000 miles. The M3 is currently crooked, so it's not an M3, it's an M3. We have to fix it. Thankfully for reference, I have a very valuable source. In the previous video, when we picked up the springs from the subscriber, he actually let me measure how his M3 logo was positioned. So I think we're gonna do a really good job. Well, we have to. Now, this is an actual M3. Look how much better that looks. Time to fix all the gapping. Lucas is gonna be here anytime now, so we have to remove the front bumper. And funny enough, you know how we've been waiting for the brackets for this headlights to come in? Oh boy, guess what? 2 more 8mm on the side, but finally, all the way from Latvia, the brackets for that headlight are in, and it's gonna help make the fitment actually perfect. Let's get the top bolt, and the tow hook cover should also be coming in soon. Let's go. This thing is heavy now. Funny enough, BMW sells brackets in case you break the brackets that are on your headlight. And they pretty much just go bolted up, which is really generous because these headlights each is like $2,500 used. And that explains why I keep gluing on my brackets and buying things like this. As you can see, the headlights even have the guide for the bolt to bolt into. It's really cool actually. I've never seen anything like this. What if I told you we waited over a month for no reason? This long bracket for the headlight isn't lining up with this right here. It's not even straight ahead. I don't know if you can see it, but this thing is curved and this one is straight, meaning that bracket doesn't really work. But before I threw out the old chassis, I noticed this hanging on. Is the original bracket for this headlight that goes just like that. I don't know if you can see it, but it goes like that. And you know what that means? That means we're gonna be gluing it on. Yep, you heard that right. Now, we already glued on one bracket on this headlight and it's been perfect since. It hasn't broken. I mean, this is very, very hard glue. So even though I don't really want to do that, we have to. Now we're gonna let it dry up a little bit, then we can clean it up, paint it black so you can't really tell. But while we wait for that and for Lucas to get here soon, let's throw on the front reinforcement bar because I will actually forget. It's 4 bolts on each side. Obviously it's sliding on perfectly because this chassis is 100% straight and there's 4 mounting locations, 2 bolts and nuts on each side. Time to align all the panels. Lucas is here. We're going to be aligning the whole front end. And if you're wondering, Danny, how are you gonna get the exact measurements correct? I 3D printed little gap tools that show, like for example, this is 10mm, this is a 4mm, but then you're also asking, how do you know the correct size? I have hijacked BMW headquarters and acquired a program called ISTA. I'm just kidding, I didn't hijack it, I just YouTubed it and downloaded it. But in this program, I have the exact measurements of every single body panel this car needs to have, meaning it's gonna be perfect. And to be 100% sure, I have flown out someone from Germany and he's gonna take a look at the car.
Actually?
Yeah, his name's Mr. Munich.
I'm ready.
Do you think it's gonna be 100%?
Maybe.
And we first start with the headlights. The passenger side headlight, that is. The one that we just glued. And let me tell you, the glue's on there like swimwear. But in all honesty, the headlights were so out of whack on this car. Once we get the headlights to be fully straight and buttoned down, we can start working on the bumpers. And just so you have a nice visual, these headlights have 4 mounting points. Before, they were only being held on by 2. So yeah, just imagine how bad the fitment was. And the bracket at the top is also working perfectly. And now that the bumper's fully on, it is time to look at the measurements. Okay, I'm prepared with the documents, but I have no idea how to read them. That's a big gap right here. Why is that like that? It's within spec, and I guess that's within spec. Down here isn't though. As you can see, it is a little bit confusing, but I think we're gonna do a really good job at getting this fitment at least 95% there. Overall, there is a lot of moving around. Unbolting the headlight, moving it up and down, bolting it, tightening it down, and remember that bracket that we talked down upon? Well, on the driver's side headlight, this is the one bracket that's also missing. And unfortunately, I don't have the one that snapped off. So I had to DIY the bracket that didn't fit on the other headlight, and we somehow made it work with some good old human ingenuity. It is time, Lucas, to go into the hood, fender, and bumper fitment. The most annoying one. Here we go. Now we first wanted to start by aligning the hood. To adjust the height of the hood, we have to use the latches. You can thread them up and down. That changes the height of the hood, and obviously you need to make them long enough for it to actually latch onto the latches. So you can imagine there was a lot of closing and opening of the hood until we got it to a really good spot. That's perfect. And that's when we quickly realized there was something really wrong with the driver's side fender. Maybe slightly bent for some reason. And I'm thinking it was to make it fit quote unquote okay on the twisted chassis. So now we're at a spot where we need to move the bracket that comes on the car for it to properly fit the fender, because each one of these fenders is $1,300 and I don't see a reason for spending that much money when we can make it work. And make it work we did. We got this car fitting as good as possible by twisting the brackets here and there, moving around the fender a ton as well as the hood. But to be honest, it's not 100%, so we're gonna have to drive the car to Lucas's shop to really get everything dialed down. All right, off to Lucas's shop we go. And you're probably like, oh, you're gonna hear the car before us. You're not gonna experience it with us, especially the first sound, the first drive, etc. Nope, I'm putting on my noise canceling headphones, and on top of that, more noise canceling headphones. I take my craft very serious. We're gonna experience this first drive ourselves, so let's get this fitment fixed. I'm not even gonna lie, I wanted to take these headphones off so bad, but we can't hear the car just yet. But I'm not gonna do that to you guys. We're gonna experience this together. So let's fix the fitment and then get going. But actually, right when I got to the shop, check this out, a Rolls Royce. Now, I don't know what year or anything, but this thing looks absolutely amazing. If I was at a car meet and these two cars were side by side, I have to admit, I think this is cooler than M3. I'm not gonna lie, this thing, amazing. And let me tell you, after a ton of work and a couple hours of moving around, twisting things, seeing some seriously creative work, ladies and gentlemen, the panels are all lining up perfect. I mean, Lucas and his dad did such an amazing job. I was trying to help, but I think I was just getting in the way. Lucas, I have a surprise for everybody. It's inside this box. Guess what's in here, y'all? What goes in here? So this comes paint matched to the Yas Marina Blue. By the way, I'm talking about the hook cover. But I'm really questioning to see how good of a paint match this is. Ooh. Okay. Wait, is it off?
A little bit.
Oh, I think it's off. Yeah, it's off. Oh, yeah, it's complete. Thankfully, we have Lucas, so he's gonna respray that. But at least we have a tow hook. Let's go. Even with the different shade of tow hook, it looks really good. We're gonna make sure Lucas paints this the right way. But for now, let's get going. We have a lot more to do. And remember, take my wife out on a date. So we gotta really get going. Exhaust is done. The gaps, massive thank you to Lucas, are thankfully done. The guy from Germany is gonna be here anytime now. Yeah, if you thought the engine bay was bad, the interior is even worse. It looks like no one has been in here for years. The seats are terribly stained, dust everywhere. Now, I definitely think we should keep it simple, and step one, vacuum in the car. Now, I do have something else that has been sitting here for so long, and it is this McGuire's 3-in-1 cleaner. I believe this cleans the leather, protects the leather, and it's a conditioner, so I think it's gonna be really good. It is time for the wash. We have been waiting for this since we got this car, since we pushed it up the driveway. But after the wash, we can drive the car for the first time, hear the exhaust, and take the wife on a date. I genuinely think it's kind of insane that the first ever supercar and the next build for this channel is sitting right there. I know I'm like playing with y'all, but I promise you the next video on this channel, big announcement is going to be the new car reveal, the supercar. So if you stay to the end of this video, if you're watching right now, right before the big moment, leave a like on this video, subscribe, and comment below what is the supercar we got for this channel. I'm so pumped. Let's go. What an absolute blessing. Thank you guys. Car wash success. Now let's drive the car for the first time because I have yet to hear it really. Okay, so the valves are on or closed, and it sounds like stock exhaust with downpipes. I think that's what, maybe even lower. Here we go. Valves are turned on in 3, 2, 1. Oh my God! Stop playing. Oh my gosh! Oh my God! This is insane! What? The sound and the downshifts with this manual transmission is insane. Are you kidding me? The difference between the valves closed and valves open is actually... Wow. What? It's not, there isn't a lot of drone. The sound is coming from back there. It's not like in the cabin. It's bearable. What? That's crazy. Are you, come on. Are those pops normal in between shifts? Or is this cartooned? I don't know. This is up there with one of the best sounding BMWs in my opinion. I did notice you get a tad bit of rasp at the 2000-ish RPM range, especially because we have downpipes on, but everything else about this exhaust and how incredible it sounds shatters that. That is actually insane. And let's stop talking about the exhaust for a sec. This car is handling amazing. At high speeds, it's riding perfect. No drivetrain malfunctions. Wow, I mean, this is truly me driving a dream come true. I really cannot wait to see Crystal's reaction in a little bit because she saw me go through everything. Working on the car, working on these videos, researching and stressing over everything. And honestly, I may have enjoyed it a little bit too much. He's right there.
What is this wing?
Isn't that just you in a coat?
Wait, yeah, why does he look like me? That's the standard Bavarian smelling technique. They can smell the reliability or the lack of it. Wait, why is he what?
He needs some milk.
Paint job, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for the paint job. That's not me. That's my double. How did he lives in Germany now? I thought I flew an actual... Wait, he's running away, Come on. Oh, he left his... Are you kidding me? This is what he wrote down? A 335i looks cool? I never want to see him in any of my videos again, ever. Like, you're banned. You tricked me, you tricked us, the audience. Are you ready for the date?
I'm ready.
Okay, we've been driving for like 25 minutes and Crystal was talking about how, I mean, it is incredible that this car, I mean, it was nothing, it was scrap. But I'm gonna turn on the valve for the exhaust and I wanna get your reaction because it's insane. It has pops.
Pops?
I don't know why, because I don't think it's tuned, but
That is so many.
so many pops. You guys may love the car, I might be proud of myself, but if the wife approves, that is what matters the most, and she absolutely loves it. Okay, be nice in the comments. That was my first ever time parallel parking. Actually, it was my second time, so be nice. I heard someone build this car from scratch.
I heard that too.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Gelato, to be exact.
That's right, Crystal and I devoured some gelatos. I wanted chocolate, she wanted tiramisu, so we had tiramisu. And it wasn't terrible. I actually pretty liked it towards the end. 7 out of 10.
Really? 7? I'll give it 7.5.
Overall, we just enjoyed the night. You know, life can get really busy. I'm very busy building cars and editing videos. She's really busy with school. So even if it's just something as little as going out and having a little bit of gelato and walking around downtown, it means a lot. We all need these little moments. We saw cool cars. Imagine us in an R8. That would be so insane.
I don't even know what it looks like.
Crazy. One thing for sure, this day night turned into a full-on sweat fest.
We gotta keep moving.
Gosh, it's like 10 p.m. and we're just sweating like crazy. I just found out the M3 lights, they glow in the dark. That's so cool. Look at this. What an absolute beauty of a car. I mean, if anything, don't think about how cool this car is. Just think about where we started. And I can truly tell you, and I've said it time and time again, I didn't think we were gonna get here. I mean, look at me. I didn't think I could build this car from scratch. Are you kidding me? But we were able to pull it off and wow.